Please enjoy The Story Cheater by Fabulous Insanity. Chapter 1. I checked the table one last time to make sure everything was perfect. Tonight was my boyfriend of 5 years and I's anniversary, and I wanted everything to be perfect. I made his favorite pasta and set out some red wine. I was wearing a tight red dress that stopped just above my knees. The dress showed off my curves very nicely. I topped it off with the diamond necklace he got me for our 3-year anniversary. I smiled perfect. I sat down on the table and started waiting for him come home. I looked at the clock and decided to text him. "I've got a little surprise for you. Can't wait for you to come home." I set my phone down and started fiddling with the end of my dress. 2 hours. I sat there staring at my phone, not believing what I just read. He's not coming home tonight. He's with me. Someone he has an actual connection with. Photo attachment. The photo consisted of my boyfriend, half naked, and sleeping with some random blonde girl smiling. I started getting mad. I stormed my way to our shared room and packed everything and threw away everything he ever got me, including what I was wearing. I put on my sweatpants and shirt and called my best friend to help me with my things. Before I left the house, I grabbed a pen and a piece of paper. "Hey asshole. I bet you know what this is going to be about. I do not appreciate being lied to. I will not tolerate it. You of all people should have known that. Guess not. Lucky you. Hope you have fun with that blonde bimbo, because I'm not talking to you ever again. Nicole will come by sometime and get the rest of my things. I hope you just love your trash bin now. If you didn't know already, I broke all of our pictures. Have a nice life. Tilda, with all love and beachiness. Cecilia." Chapter 2. For months earlier, I sat at the foot of my bed and watched as my boyfriend packed his bags. Isn't it a little queer that they want you to leave at such short notice? I watched as a look of regret washed over his face. "It is weird, but baby, this is work," he said, zipping his suitcase and kissing my forehead. "Just be back soon, all right?" I said, hugging his waist. He placed his chin on top of my shoulders. "I'll try. I love you. Remember that," he said softly, kissing me before walking out and leaving me feeling helpless on our bed. Chapter 3. Present time. I was woken by the sound of someone knocking on the door. I had Nicole whispering to whomever it was. I wiped my eyes and got up to see who it was. "Nikki, who is it?" I asked, and immediately stopped in my tracks when I saw Aiden standing there looking at me. "Sis, why are you here?" "I went home, and when I called your name I didn't hear anyone, so I came here. I knew you would be here." "Come home, I wanna cuddle," he said, looking at me with scared eyes. I looked at Nicole and back to him. Obviously he didn't read my note. "Can I just stay here tonight?" I asked him. "Why?" he asked. "Well, if you get to stay at some girl's house, it's only fair that I stay at Nicole's house." "What are you talking about? What girl?" "Oh, don't you dare play dumb with me, Aiden. I have proof." I pulled up the picture of him and the blonde. He looked at me with wide eyes and opened his mouth to say something, but I stopped him by saying, "Don't you dare try to tell me that this isn't you," I snapped. "Please, sis, it was a mistake." "Sure. A year full of mistakes. Right? Please. I love you. I loved you too. Why would you do this to me? You know I have a bad past with cheating, yet you still ran off and did it. Please. Leave now," I yelled, pointing to the door. "Please just let me explain," he begged. The picture explained enough. Now leave before I call the police." He turned around and left, but when he was outside he turned around and looked like he wanted to say more. "You know what? No, you're not leaving yet. You hurt my best friend, you asshole!" Nicole yelled, running to him and punching him square in the face. I started laughing when she came in, but he still looked like he wanted to say more, so I slammed the door in his face. I waited until I heard him leave and slid down the door with my face in my hands. Nicole sat down next to me and hugged me. Chapter 4. Present time. All those "I love yous" were just him lying. All the work leaves were just him going on vacation with that blonde slut. He never loved you. All of these thoughts kept racing through my mind as I sat there waiting for Nicole to come back. Now more than ever when I'm alone I start thinking about him and why he did what he did. You are strong. No, you're not. You are beautiful, yeah, but not gorgeous like she is. You can move on. Don't dwell on the past. Find someone who loves you. No one will love you. Chapter 5. 5 months earlier. "Please don't go," I said, watching him pack his bags. "You know I have to see," he said, sighing. "But it's weird, and it's 3 a.m. and I just sighed." "I don't know," I said, sitting down and rubbing my forehead. He sat down next to me and wrapped his arm around my waist. "What's wrong?" "I'm just scared that you'll meet someone else and forget all about me," I said, looking at his scared expression. "I know it's stupid. Babe, you know I love you and I'll always come back to you. I love you too. No matter what. No matter what." Chapter 6. Present time. "So there's something still at the house. Do you want to come with to help?" Nicole asked, sitting next to me on the couch. "Yeah, I'll help," I said, sighing. "Thank God," she sighed from relief, making me laugh. "Well, let's go," I said, putting my shoes on. "Can I drive?" I asked. "Yeah, here's the keys and make sure you lock up. You know which key is." I laughed, locking the door before I got into the passenger seat and backed out of the driveway. We were at a red light listening to music and we didn't even see the car speeding towards us from behind. Chapter 7. Present time. When I woke up I was surrounded by my family and Nicole, who was in a wheelchair. I gasped. "What happened? Don't you remember? We were in the car crash. It was really bad, Cecilia. So bad," she said, letting out a little sob. "I can't walk ever again. You have broken ribs, legs, and you had some brain damage. Plus you were in a coma." "How long?" I asked. "A good month," my mother said, squeezing my hand. Just then the doctor came in. "So good morning, honey. I'm glad you're awake," she said, smiling. "So I carry good and bad news. Which one would you prefer first?" Good. "Well, you are able to leave in a couple days if everything is normal," she said, "but now the bad news. You have lost your baby." I looked at her with wide eyes and the tears started forming. "I was pregnant." "Oh my goodness, you didn't know?" she asked, looking surprised. Tears started falling down my face. "Boy or a girl?" I asked. "She was a beauty," the doctor said. "Is there any way that we can contact the father?" I looked down. "No, we kinda broke up because he cheated on me." When I said that, everything in the room gasped. "What are you talking about?" my mother asked, letting her mom instincts out. "He cheated on me for a solid year with some blonde chick," I said as more tears fell. "And now I lost the baby I never knew I had." I then started sobbing uncontrollably. I started hearing the heart monitor go crazy and then I couldn't breathe until everything went black again. Chapter 8. Present time. When you wake up, he won't be there. No one will. You're all alone in this world. You lost your baby. Why would you stay? I opened my eyes for the second time that day. Honey, are you alright? You kinda blacked out. I can't feel my feet, I said, getting worried. The doctor said that would be one result of the numbing they gave you for pain, because when you woke up, you in a lot of pain, my father said, holding my hand. Where's Nicole? When I asked that, their faces went blank. She's dead. Now you have no one. She's in surgery because right after you blacked out, she started feeling nauseous. Her right leg was infected. I nodded. Can I see her? We don't know when they'll be done. I'm sorry, sweetie. I nodded with a yawn. Go to sleep, baby. We'll be right here. When I woke up, no one was here. I looked up at the ceiling, looking at the different bumps. They're kind of like us. Each different and unique. All have a story to tell. Just then my door opened and it was Nicole wheeling herself in. But she has a prosthetic leg. I reached my arms out for a hug, which she gladly accepted. The doctor says that we both need physical therapy for our legs, so we can do that together, she said with a small smile. When do we start? I asked, watching her make her way to sit in her wheelchair. Whenever you're ready. I'm ready as I'll ever be. She wheeled out to find the doctor. They both came inside. So you're ready for the therapy? The doctor asked, and I nodded. She helped me up along with another nurse that would also hold my ID stand. 1, 2, 3. They had me walk to the door with them, which was pretty hard. As we walked down the hallway, I noticed that I was getting super tired. I'm tired, I said in between breaths. They looked at each other. Let's get you back to bed then. You did really good for your first day, the doctor said, making me smile lightly. She's only lying. You're going to die. Chapter 9. Present time. She tried to remind herself that beauty was only skin deep, but that didn't offer any helpful excuses when she was berating herself for never knowing what to say to people. There was nothing more depressing than an ugly girl with no personality. It hurts, because deep inside, she knew who she was, and that person was smart, kind, and often even funny, but somehow her personality always got lost somewhere between her heart and her mouth. She found herself saying the wrong thing, or more than often, nothing at all. I guess you can say we have two personalities. The one during the day, if we were asked if we're happy, we would say absolutely we're happy and we don't need any help, we're completely okay. But then there's the other tack at 2 a.m., sits alone in their room wondering if anyone likes them and asking themselves what's the point in any of sixth one that is in pain, and this is the one that needs to be shown how beautiful they are. Chapter 10. Present time. Human beings are funny. They long to be with the person they love but refuse to admit openly. Some are afraid to show even the slightest sign of affection because of fear. Fear that their feelings may not be recognized, or even worse, returned. But one thing about human beings puzzles me the most is their conscious effort to be connected with the object of their affection, even if it kills them slowly within. Every day seems the same to me. I sit around and think about how alone I feel, then I wind up rather enjoying loneliness because it's the comfort of being sad. Sometimes it feels so right, and sometimes I'd like to be around no one for 10 straight years. But I know this feeling can't bring me places, and I know I'm losing lots of ground, but to keep up means to get up. And why does it have to be? The world keeps on changing while I just stay the same. I feel like being down doesn't mean enough to anyone anymore, and I guess the world has made emotion obsolete. And I don't think I feel the same, cause after all, who says what happy really means? I've been treated like shit by too many people. I have my guard up at all times, and I've built walls because I'm afraid to ever get hurt again. I'm stubborn because if I'm not I get walked all over. I cry easy because I'm emotional and a wreck. I don't make sense half the time because I have too many things run through my head at once. I'm not an easy person to understand. You hate it when people make a joke about you, about something that you are actually incredibly insecure about and they don't realize it. But every laugh feels like a stab in your chest, because it hurts so much and brings up memories you'd rather forget. But you can't say anything, because then people would know your weaknesses. They'd know how insecure you really are. So instead you just laugh it off, and hide the pain you feel inside. It's a cruel thing you'll never know all the way I tried. It's a hard thing faking a smile when I feel like I'm falling apart inside. And now you're gone. It's like an echo in my head, and I remember every word you said. And you never were, and you never will be mine. For the first time, there's no mercy in your eyes. And the cold wind's hitting my face, and you're gone, and you're just walking away. And I'm helpless. You know what goes on in anyone's life but your own. And when you mess with one part of a person's life, you're not messing with just that part. Unfortunately, you can't be that precise and selective. When you mess with one part of a person's life, you're messing with their entire life. Everything. Affects. Everything. I think when you wrong, you're hoping that this person will be the right one, the one you're going to be in love with forever. But sometimes you want the so much to create something that isn't really there. JOHNNY. Do understand the impulse. The impulse to put your hand out and want someone towed there at the end of your reach. To want someone towed close to. To want to kiss or touch even if it's wrong. The point is you can't control these feelings. Even if they read wrong, they're still there. They're always there. What's the point in screaming? No one's listening anyway. I am young and I'm hopeless. I'm lost and I know this. I'm going nowhere fast. That's what they say. I'm troublesome. I've fallen. I'm angry at my father. It's me against this world and I don't care. She's not the kind of girl who likes to tell the world about the way she feels about herself. Did it surprise you that I am not who you thought I was? Did it surprise you to find that I don't exactly stand for what you thought I stood for all along? Did it surprise you to find that I'm not exactly how I played myself out to be? That the person you thought I was is actually nothing to what I am. Everyone sees who I appear to be but only a few know the real me. You only see what I choose to show. There's so much behind my smile you just don't know. I like having low self-esteem. It makes me feel special. Take it from someone who's fallen. It's a long way down. Chapter 11. Present time. Do you remember our first day together? Our first touch? The first time you told me you loved me? The first time you held my face in your hands and kissed me? Or how about that day you decided I would like her to be with me for the rest of my life? I think she's the one. Or that fateful day when you asked for my hand. Do you still remember any of it? Because I do. I still do. And those memories burned longer and brighter on my heart. Those memories are engraved on me, memories that I know you also have. So why did you do this to me? Why did you cheat on me and leave me after all the moments we've shared? Why? I thought these kind of problems only happened in movies, or in novels I read. It's not supposed to happen in my life. I mean, it's you after all. The half of my life. The one I trusted the most. The one I loved the most. But it did happen. The first time I caught you cheating, I forgave you. It hurts so much, but I still keep on forgiving you. My trust with you are irreparably broken. And could you blame me? But I still choose to forgive you. I choose to forgive you because I love you. Why can't you do the same for me? Chapter 12. 6 months later. I just feel like I have no one. Nicole is gone. Aiden is gone. My parents can't look at me. I told my therapist. You do not have no one. You have your other family members. You can move to them after I believe you're well. You just have to believe that you can get better, he said, trying to look me in the eye, but I looked anywhere else. Nicole is dead now. I don't have friends, I said, completely ignoring his last comment. Cecilia, I would like if you took this journal, he said, handing me a journal which I took hesitantly. I would very much like it if you wrote down all of your thoughts and all your feelings. It'll help us treat you, he said with a kind smile. Maybe there is hope yet. Maybe I'll get better and my parents will need me again. Maybe I'll make a new friend and maybe even find love. I walked out of the building to my car and felt different than usual. I felt like even though I knew I had no one, I could still get through this, until I got home and saw all of Nicole's things and the weight of the world was back on my shoulders. I sighed and sat down, already having things to write. Chapter 13. Present time. Flashback. So he actually came here and he was like, "Oh Nicole, I'm sorry this is happening to you. At least you look pretty in those sweatpants," Nicole said in her mock man voice, making me laugh. While she was laughing, she started coughing. It was very subtle at first until it got really bad and looked painful for her. Right when I pushed the call button was when the blood started coming out of her mouth. The doctors and nurses all ran in, wheeling her out and bringing her to a different room where they would operate on her and fail at trying to find the problem. And a flashback. That was the last time I saw her, I said to my therapist, Dr. Ramsey. He nodded. "You have had quite the past, my dear," he said, and I nodded. "Have you happened to write in that journal at all?" he asked as I pulled it out of my bag. I handed it to him and he opened it. "Would you mind if I read it out loud and I will ask questions on it?" "Go ahead," I said, leaning back in the chair, starting to bite on my thumbnail, a new habit I picked up after the crash. Don't wait until it's too late to tell someone how much you love, how much you care. Because when they're gone, no matter how loud you shout and cry, they won't hear you anymore. He read out loud. "Tell me a little more about this, please, Cecilia." I sighed. "Well, isn't it obvious? I miss her and I miss Aiden. I can cry all I want, but it's not like they're going to magically appear and make me feel better." "You miss him even after what he did to you?" he asked, closing my journal and putting it on his lap. "I did love him. He was my first love, and at the rate I'm going, he is probably my last." I sighed, looking out the window at the little people walking around. Dr. Ramsey's room was on the top floor. "I requested of you to look at everyone. Only if you tell yourself that, but you can get through it. You're stronger than you know." I sat back further in my chair. "I'm only 25. Why is this happening to me? Everyone has a bad something that's happened to them. You may have gotten a somewhat worse one, but everyone has something that they have to get through. Some people let the sadness take over, but the rest become stronger and get through it. I'm not telling you that you have to do anything. I'm only telling you that I am here to help you through this, and that once you get past the bad part, which is now, you'll feel so much better." I nodded, still biting my nail, and I was looking everywhere else but his eyes. "Thanks, I guess." He was about to say something else when the timer went off. "Well, that's all for today. See you next week, Cecilia. Rest up." Chapter 14. Present time. I pulled out my journal, deciding to write in it as the thoughts in my mind wouldn't stop. Today I went for a walk. That may seem like a little thing bushels to me. It was a big step. I haven't went for a walk in the actual outside since about a year ago with Nicole. When I came home, I was drowned in the memories and thoughts all about her, like she haunting me. I miss her. I miss her every day. You never know how much you love someone until you lose them. This reminds me of a quote I read once. I was taught young to be stone-souled, self-reliant, to hold myself high and poised, with a ready smile and a subtle charm ready to conquer the world. So I learned from early on to only cry behind closed doors, on dim lights with no sound, to howl in pain silently, to break down without anyone knowing, and to never ask for help. Because when no one sees you suffering, do you really suffer? Much like when a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? I can always pretend that whatever pains me never happened, and I can always go back and face the world, pretending I'm okay. Cynthia Go / if a tree falls in the forest. This reminds me of myself. I never cried in front of anyone, didn't want to look weak. I never asked for help, didn't want to sound desperate for attention. But now I'm becoming the opposite of that quote. I asked for the therapist. I knew I needed help. I just hope that it works in time, before the thoughts completely drown me in my sorrow. Chapter 15. Present time. Today I was feeling better than usual. I had this weird feeling that everything was going to be okay. I decided to take a walk. As I was walking, I saw a girl with a wheelchair. I stopped immediately and looked down. Most people would think this was normal, but I thought of Nicole. I thought of Nicole in her last days. I thought of her on her worst days and on her best. I thought of her smile and how she loved to talk about the world and how it changed almost instantly. I never thought about how much the world could change until I met her. She taught me the joys of living, but then she was gone and no one was there to keep me happy like she did. She was my best friend, my soul sister. I can't find anyone like her, and I never want to. I don't want to find someone exactly like her. That would make me feel worse. I looked up, and before I could look at the girl, I walked rather quickly back to my house. I walked in and slid down the door with my hands in my hair. It made me think of when I did this when Ida came over and my best friend punched him, then comforted me while my world was falling apart. I just wish I had her back. Sometimes it seemed if I just dreamed somehow she would be here, but I know that won't happen and I just have to deal with that somehow. Chapter 16. Okay, how about we talk about your family? My therapist, Dr. Sherman, asked. I sighed. What if I don't want to? Well, I'm not forcing you to say anything. I just think it would be better for you if you started talking it rather than keep it all bottled up inside. So what would you like to talk about instead? I sighed again and looked out the window. I guess I can't talk about them. Ah, good for you, Cecilia. He exclaimed. Please, tell me how you feel about what happened. I looked at him. Well, they left me at the hospital because I didn't trust them enough to tell them before that Aiden cheated on me and that I was pregnant. I didn't even know I was pregnant. They said they only stayed to help for a little until they had enough of my lies and left me. So I guess I'm feeling pretty bad about them. We all handle news in different ways. Maybe that's their weird way of showing you that they care. I scoffed. You're joking, right? If they cared they would have called and asked how I was. If they cared they would have showed up to my house and said sorry. If they cared they would have stayed in that hospital and helped me through the worst moment of my life. I'm going to give you a paper. It's called 7 Concepts. We both know that you're strong, but you choose not to see it that way. which is completely normal. You just need a little encouragement. Now, these are just suggestions. You are free to change them however you please to better suit you and how you feel. But when I found this, I thought of you. He rolled his chair over to his desk and fished through the papers until he found what he was looking for. He rolled in front of me and handed me the paper. I hope you take these into consideration. We finished up and I walked out to my car. When I got in, I decided to read the paper. 7 Concepts. 1. Make peace with your past so it doesn't spoil your future. 2. What others think of you is none of your business. 3. Time heals almost everything. 4. No one is the reason for your happiness except yourself. 5. Don't compare your life with others. You have no idea what their journey looks like. 6. Stop thinking too much. It's all right not to know all the answers. 7. Smile. You don't own all the problems in the world. Chapter 17. -2 years later. I was walking around the supermarket pushing my cart and looking at my list of groceries that I needed. "Doug, where's the bread when you need it?" I exclaimed to myself, looking around frantically. "Hey, ma'am, I'm sorry but the bread is in front of you," a familiar voice said. I slowly turned and saw him. "Hidden," I whispered. His eyes went wide. "Cecilia. Wow, why you look great. How are you?" I sighed and looked around. I'm good. How are you?" I asked awkwardly. He shoved his hands in his pockets and started walking on his feet. "I'm good. I'm good." "Oh, how's Nicole doing?" he asked. My head shot up and I looked at him. "She's dead," I said, still looking at him. His eyes went wide. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean to pry or anything. I'll just go." "Have a good day," he said, turning around and walking away. I turned around to continue shopping, but for some reason I felt obligated to turn back around and asked him if he could help me with the rest of my list. Of course he said yes. Even if he cheated, it's the kind of person he is. He told me all about his life while I wasn't in it. How he finally ended it with the blonde chick. How he has 2 beautiful little girls that changed him for the better. He said he's not looking for a relationship, he just wants to be there for his children. Then I told him all about me. About Nicole dying, my parents basically abandoning me, going to therapy, and now living with my cousin Lillian. He asked me how I was doing and I told him the truth. I told him that I was broken for a while and I finally found myself. When we were finally finished, he waited for me to check out and helped me put my things in my trunk. Friends. Friends. Underscore 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 /n. I know this may not be the ending you were hoping for, but I wanted to end it like this. I wanted them to find peace with their pasts and soon heal their futures. I hope you enjoyed this book. Thank you for reading. Love, Faith. The end.